Going out into the wilderness has become increasingly popular over the last few years. So much so that auto manufacturers are now creating bespoke off-road ready trims of their most popular models. The latest one to do this is Honda with the new Passport Trailsport. So can this tackle the rough stuff, or is it more of an appearance package? Let's go for a drive and find out. So first, let's look at the Honda Passport as a mid-size SUV. It is powered by a 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6 with VTEC, and it produces 280 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. Now that is less power than some other mid-size SUVs like the Jeep Grand Cherokee or the Chevrolet Blazer. Both of their V6s produce more power, but this engine has quite a lot of character. As you put your foot down and let the engine rev, that switch over to VTEC is really nice and quite good sounding. It has a nice gradual power band, so when you're cruising on a highway and you need to overtake someone, the engine doesn't need to work too hard to overtake another vehicle. The 2022 Honda Passport Trailsport is rated for 12.5 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 9.8 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. Like the Honda Odyssey I tested a while back, it is very easy to reach, and in some cases beat, the highway fuel economy rating. But in a city environment, it is much harder to reach the official rating. However, I drove the Passport a bit more often than usual on highways during my time with it, so my average fuel economy was a respectable 11.2 liters per 100 kilometers. Paired with this engine is a 9-speed automatic transmission. Unfortunately, the Passport does not get the updated 10-speed automatic that the Honda Odyssey gets. You can check out that review up here if you're interested. This transmission shifts nice and smoothly. It's not exactly the fastest, but the shifts are reasonably quick. You can take over shifting duties with the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters if you want, but again, it's not the fastest to shift, it's just average. On paved roads, the Passport is a capable and solid SUV. It is not quite on par with the Mazda CX-9 in terms of driving dynamics around corners, but it is very close. The Passport Trailsport is equipped with Honda's iVTM4 all-wheel drive system, which has clutch packs in the rear differential that allows for real torque vectoring. Steering response is good with a hefty feeling steering wheel through corners. Now let's take a look at the Passport as an off-road mid-size SUV. And on that front, I'm sorry to say that the Trailsport is not a proper off-road SUV. It does get different wheels and tires than the other two trim levels of the Passport, but these are still all-season tires. It's just that the very edge is a bit more bitey to make it easier to drive through gravel like this. The track in the front and in the back has been widened by 10 millimeters, which is like 0.4 inches, which is about that much, if you can see that. It's roughly that much. But it wasn't done through new suspension components. Instead, it was just done through the offset of the wheels. The ride height remains the same at 8.1 inches, just like the other Passport trim levels. The front skid plate is completely fake and it doesn't have any protection for the engine or the transmission. And it just has some extra plastic cladding, and that's it. If you really want to go off-roading and do some serious, like proper off-roading, then Jeep Grand Cherokee or the Toyota 4Runner TRD. Almost forgot the name, but Those two are much better and can probably go further and deeper into the woods than this thing can. Back on paved roads, the 2022 Honda Passport Trailsport is as comfortable as mid-size SUVs get. The ride is superb. Potholes and road imperfections are absorbed with ease by the suspension. Wind is negligible in the cabin, but road noise is a bit more evident at highway speeds. The engine can be a bit noisy at higher RPMs, but it's not too bad. And when the VTEC switchover happens, there's a deep induction howl that sounds better than some sports cars. Now taking a look at the inside of the Honda Passport, and it looks really similar to the Honda Pilot. They're actually both on the same platform. But the interior is really straightforward. It's also really well laid out, so all the controls are where you expect them to be. There are no capacitive touch buttons anywhere. They're all physical buttons, which I really like. Oh, sorry, I forgot. There are 3 capacitive touch buttons right here for the home, back, and brightness adjustments for the infotainment system. But at least the volume controls are not capacitive touch because you get a volume knob. That's always nice. Also, I like the fact that there's barely any gloss black plastics inside this interior. The only little bit is right here underneath the infotainment system. As for space, I am 6'4", above average in height, but legroom is plentiful and so is headroom. This seat is all the way down to the bottom because that's just how I like to sit in cars, and yet I still have very good visibility out the front, side, and even out the back. I can see over smaller cars with ease. So yeah, pretty nice interior in the front. Now let's check out the back seats. So to make the Passport, you'll never guess what Honda did. They took a Pilot, right? And then took out the 3rd row. What that means is more space for the 2nd row. So even behind my driving position, my legs are nowhere near touching the back of the front seat, even for my above average height. And same goes with headroom. Plenty of it. Can't complain. These seats, they do slide forwards and backwards, and they're split 60-40. They can also recline, and the outboards are heated on this particular trim. The floor is completely flat. You also have your own separate climate controls in the back. There are cup holders galore, 2 in each door and 2 more over here. Plus there are USB ports and a plug for your charging, I guess. The only thing is, it's quite dark back here. There's no panoramic sunroof, black headliner, black floor, black leather, black tinted windows. It's almost as though it's permanently night in the back. With the 3rd row seats gone, the Honda Passport has a whopping 1,430 liters of space behind the 2nd row and 2,852 liters of space with the 2nd row folded. No other mid-size SUV comes close to offering as much cargo space. The 2022 Honda Passport starts at $45,570 Canadian for the Sport trim, with this Trailsport trim costing $49,270 Canadian. The Trailsport is the mid-range trim level for the 2022 Passport, and as such it comes well equipped, but it doesn't have every feature in the catalog. However, it still has leather upholstery, heated seats, heated steering wheel, sunroof, backup camera, power liftgate, 3-zone climate control, heated rear seats, wireless phone charging, and power front seats. The base trim level of the Honda Passport receives all of the available advanced safety systems. Moving up in the trim levels does not get you any more safety systems than the base model. Automatic emergency braking, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning with lane keep, blind spot sensors, rear cross traffic alert, and so on. You get all of it on the base model. So, like I said earlier in the video, the Trailsport is essentially an appearance package for the Passport. It doesn't give it any more off-road capability than the other 2 trim levels do. However, Honda has said that future iterations of Trailsport models will be more and more off-road capable, but we'll just have to wait and see. The Passport as an on-road midsize SUV is actually one of the better ones out there. This engine has a lot of character and it's a blast to drive. And also, no other midsize SUV can even come close to offering as much interior space for both passengers and cargo as the Passport. Actually, the only one that comes close to offering as much interior space for passengers, at least, is the Hyundai Santa Fe, but this offers more cargo space. And if you want to know more about this 2022 Honda Passport Trailsport, I wrote a more detailed review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner right up here. And as always, I will see you in the next car or truck or most likely another SUV. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and see you in the next video.